So relax with me. Divine love, I come before you exactly as I am, not as I wish I were. Now I'm tired of wearing the armor of being fine, and I'm weary of the effort of protecting my image. Today, I lay down my defenses. I bring you my fear of being not enough, my secret resentments, and my desperate need to be in control. I stop trying to hide these shadows from you, realizing that in hiding them, I've only been hiding from myself. I admit that I am afraid of being truly seen. I am afraid that if the masks fall away, I will be left with nothing. Yet I choose to trust your voice over my fear. Take my vulnerability and turn it into a bridge. Where I am empty, fill me with your peace. Where I am proud, soften me with your grace. I no longer ask to be right or safe in the eyes of the world. I only ask to be wide open to your presence. I am here. I am yours. Do with me what love requires. Amen.
Amour divin, je me présente devant toi tel que je suis et non tel que je voudrais être. Je suis fatiguée de porter l'armure du « tout va bien » et je suis épuisée par les efforts que je déploie pour protéger mon image. Aujourd'hui, je renonce à mes défenses. Je t'apporte ma peur de ne pas être à la hauteur. Mes sentiments secrets et mon besoin désespéré de tout contrôler. Je cesse d'essayer de te cacher ces zones d'ombre, car je réalise qu'en les cachant, je ne fais que me cacher à moi-même. J'admets que j'ai peur d'être vraiment vue. J'ai peur que si les masques tombent, je me retrouve sans rien. Pourtant, je choisis de faire confiance à ta voix plutôt qu'à ma peur. Prends ma vulnérabilité et transforme-la en pont. Là où je suis vide, remplis-moi de ta paix. Là où je suis orgueilleux, adoucis-moi par ta grâce. Je ne demande plus d'avoir raison ou d'être en sécurité aux yeux du monde. Je demande seulement d'être grand ouvert à ta présence.
I am here. I am yours. Do with me what love requires. Amen. So let's be still with this for just a moment. Thank you. Thank you for being quiet with me and focusing on this prayer for a moment on the silence. So here's the thing that I say. It says at the end, like, let love do with me whatever needs to occur, and that sounds like a surrendering to love. But here there's no sacrifice asked of you, or any kind of sacrifice in that sense. It is like what does love want me to be? It wants me to be itself, because then it is what I am. It is what I am. It is like I am love created. And like I was created out of love, being love. I only have to be that. It doesn't need to be made or manufactured. So that's the thing. It's like it doesn't want to do anything with me. It is what I am. Now, you see that the things that are in the way for that in your consciousness could be fear, like afraid to completely let go of your idea about yourself, because that is the only thing that is in the way. It's like, if I still defend an idea about myself, then I cannot be the love that I am, and I will act and think accordingly, and that is where we find ourselves in this transformational journey. Like the thing that you're defending is exactly the thing that is not helping you, that is in the way. And in fact, the only thing that is asked in a transformational process is just be who you are. You don't have to suppress anything. You don't have to behave holy or loving, or like, no, it is really letting everything fall apart. Like there's this, in a certain sense, death connected to the death of your ideas about yourself, and that is the part that takes a moment, because you're so accustomed to being the denial of love that you think that if you let go of that, you're not sure what is going to happen. So there's nothing, it's like out of the ordinary, so to speak. It's not strange that is a consequence, that you're afraid to expose yourself, to show yourself as the love that you are. And so the practice then becomes much more receiving the love that I am. Allowing that to fulfill me is really the practice. Now this, we don't talk about this all the time, but it is a real something. Like, we're concerned with, are we giving enough love? We love to think about that. Are we giving enough to one another, or am I holding back certain things? And that's of course one part of it, but it isn't like that is not where this is about. This is about you receiving love. Are you allowing yourself to be loved? That's really the question. It's like, are you allowing yourself to be loved? If you allow yourself to be loved, then you give that. That is the gift. You allow yourself to be loved. You recognize yourself as the love that you are, you could also say. But that's a matter of receiving it for yourself. This principle we know very well from healing, like as if healing is something else than letting yourself be loved. No, that's the same idea. So I don't want to talk too much about it. So just some basic ideas that we walk around with, I like to take a look at. Now, letting yourself be loved is the same as undergoing a healing experience. It's the same as being a practitioner in Joel's terms, or being the miracle worker. How do you receive a miracle? Like, how are you performing miracles? By receiving them. What is a miracle? Is an expression of love. Loving your neighbor as yourself. That's what Jesus meant with loving your neighbor as yourself. In other words, so this is where we come to. This will repeat itself a couple of times during this so-called webinar. I have to find a name for it, so this is a webinar. And so there are two things. Like I wrote a little about this, and that is, I recorded that at the same time. So, not at the same time, but I recorded this and I want to show that to you. I want you to listen to that. And these are new ways of relating. And why do I write those things? It's like, well, these are some aspects. If you are aware of the fact that this is part of the ways that you are present, you also recognize that by allowing a change to occur in that, or by allowing a new vision to come to you in that, you actually start to come to an experience of letting yourself be loved. And that's really important. So I use a bit of the book of Choose Only Love from Sebastian. Sebastian received the book. Sebastian Blaksley received the book. It was given to him, and so we use that as an outline, but also take a look at, okay, but what is that then that we're actually talking about? What is this new way of relating to one another? And not that we come up with new rules to behave, or like, okay, now from now on we do this. It's like, no, this is all consciousness. Like the change is occurring in consciousness. You actually start to see that what you used before as an expression of love might not be what love is, because you expected something back, or there was an exchange, or there was a differentiation or a specialization. You had only certain people you would give that to, but this is totally different. This has to do with the awareness of love's presence in you. Choose Only Love, a new way of relating. In the Choose Only Love series, received by Sebastian Blaksley, the new way to relate to one another is rooted in a shift from ego-based separation to divine unity. We stop seeing others as others and start seeing them as reflections of the same divine love. This isn't just about being nice or behaving socially acceptable. It inspires a radical ontological shift where relationships become a sacred practice rather than a social or emotional contract. It is an inspiration to relate to the true nature of beingness, of oneness, recognized within yourself and reflected in what you see, and related to itself, to yourself. This is what Jesus meant by loving your neighbor as yourself. The new way of relating. Here is some inspiration for the new way of relating. These are not new social laws or ways to behave. The guidance given here can be of help to open your eyes to what you have always known to be true. From transaction to gift. The new way is defined by unconditional self-giving. You relate to another as a living tabernacle, where the act of loving is its own reward, requiring nothing from the other person to feel complete. It is no longer an exchange of needs, but an unconditional giving. In the old way, we often related through spiritual commerce, giving only to receive validation, security, or love in return. Seeing the soul, not the persona. In the new way of relating, you relate directly to their innate divinity. This means looking past the mask of self-identity to acknowledge the Christ light within them. You connect with the soul in a holy instant of recognition, not looking for anything to get, but opening your consciousness for the miracle and celebrating the unity. In darkness, the ego wanted to continue the conflict. It interacted with someone's personality, social status, or past mistakes to measure if relating would be beneficial and how to relate to secure the fulfillment of expectations and perceived needs. Radical vulnerability and transparency. Because you know you are eternally loved by the divine, you no longer defend yourself to secure your safety. You experience the safety of the triune relationship. Yourself, your brother, embraced in the safety of divine love. Recognizing yourself as the extension of divine love inspires this newfound certainty. This allows for a relationship based on total honesty and transparency, where you let yourself be fully seen without the protection of masks or pretenses. The ancient fear of being hurt by another serves no purpose and can be released. The new way discards the need for defensive walls. Presence rather than projection. Now you can relate through pure presence. By being fully present, you stop trying to change, fix, or save the other person. You simply be with them, allowing the Holy Spirit to flow through the space between you. You simply allow the moment itself to show you its perfection. Most human relationships are built on projection. We see what we want to see or what we fear. We adapted to responding to that, and that originated a world of attack and defense. No love was possible. Forgiveness as a constant state, not an act. In the way, forgiveness isn't something you do after an offense. It is the new vision in which you see the world. You recognize that any attack is merely a cry for love. By relating through a state of constant forgiveness, you refuse to hold anyone prisoner to their past, seeing them always as they are in the present moment, innocent. Forgiveness in the old way was based on forgiveness what someone or yourself had done to someone, making the act that needed forgiveness real. This can never liberate you from the occurrence. The new relating is a shift from what can I get from you to how can God love you through me. You feel that when you hear this, it's like, for instance, the forgiveness part. It's like it becomes a constant state, a constant letting go of the past, it's like literally a shift in your perception, because now you're not using your eyes to pinpoint what your brother did to you or what happened, or trying to understand it or defend it or fight it, anything like that. Like, no, this is an internal shift. You go within and connect with that, and seeing everything else just as a mistake, basically. Now, this asks for like the new ways of relating. It asks for, in fact, training, because you will make mistakes with this, of course. Like, and the mistake is that you forget who you truly are, or haven't even discovered it. So that's why we practice what we practice, and so this, what we do today, is part of that too. Now, how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling in this moment? Are you willing to just be that? Or are you trying to fight what you feel? Are you trying to run away from it or try to ignore it? Now, this all is part of that. Like, no, that is important to include. Not to become, like, the inclusion is just not to reject it, not to think that is not what is occurring at this point. Like, it is occurring. By you, in fact, acknowledging it and releasing it or letting it go, it is not in the way any longer. But if you reject it, then it will come back to you and it will be in the way. You actually constantly feel it. Now, these things, it's like, all this, what I've shared so far. All this. Of course, I'm not telling you anything new. Obviously not. So it is more like, oh yeah, now I remember that. Yes, of course, it makes total sense. Like, why am I expecting something from anyone? Like, in order, for instance, because I love them, they should be doing certain things back to me. Now, this is a lesson that you learn, that you're in the middle of. Like, maybe you learned the lesson, that's wonderful. But otherwise, it will keep coming back in different ways, more and more to the point, so that you will get this lesson. Not having any expectancy, not having, like, not assuming anything, but allowing things to be as they are. And accepting your feelings, like letting your feelings coming up, what it does with you. Now, this is really important, because the occurrences that are taking place in your life have no longer to do with a timeline and some kind of life story, but they become moments of healing. Your life is dedicated to healing, to becoming whole all the time. Any occurrence is just only there to recognize your wholeness. If you give it that purpose, then it will have that purpose. If you think that you want certain things and you put your goals out to achieve those, then in fact you miss all this. Then you will be disappointed, because you're not going to get. The world is not giving you what you want. It is not anything by itself, so it cannot fulfill you. See, also something you don't know, but we keep practicing this and keep remembering it. And why? Because it makes you happy if you remember it. In the moments that really matter for you, it is really great to remember this and recognize, oh my God, instead of literally projecting my anger upon my brother, saying like, why don't you do this? Now I'm not satisfied. You did this and I wanted you to do that. So in other words, the need for control, you release the need for control, because what do you know what's supposed to happen? It's not of your business, so to speak, because there's not an outcome to all this. No, there's only the realization in this present moment to be pure present and experience the fulfillment of that in yourself, because that is where a whole moment is for, where this holy instant is for. So this is, I compressed it a little bit in not too many words, but you know this, you recognize this, I'm sure of that. Now here we are. I would love to. So, like I said, we have some ingredients. One of them is reading a bit from the book, like "Let Yourself Be Loved," and using that as a meditation, contemplation. Just to, in fact, let yourself be touched by it. That's where the greatest miracle happens. Like we had this on the other day too. It's like suddenly you're being caught by the light that is actually transferred to, that is actually penetrating your consciousness. Suddenly you can't hold the resistance, and suddenly you are touched by what is being shared, just because it is a representation of the light that you are. You can't stop being attracted to that and letting yourself be taken by it. Now this receptivity, what I was talking about, receiving this love for yourself, letting yourself be loved, is really the inspiration that I'm sharing today. Let yourself be loved. And so the part that I'm going to read has everything to do with that too. This is, by the way, from Mother Mary. She speaks in the book too. It's like Mother Mary. She speaks to you as the Mother of God, which is something else. I can tell you that. It's something else. Now here's a bit of my background. I grew up as a kid, as a Protestant kid, and so Maria was like almost like a dissident, or she was like, okay, she's the mother of Jesus, but we'll rather not talk about her. Especially not having Maria prayers. That would be a taboo. You're like, no, that's not possible. This is about Jesus. So it's interesting the way that it comes back now. Not that I have any problem with Maria, and I always have loved Maria, just because she was so quietly present. She was really the manifestation of pure presence to me. She would be very much alert. Imagine this moment where there was a wedding, and Jesus and her were at the wedding, and so the wine is gone. Now what? Well, Maria walks up to Jesus and says, well, is there anything here that you can do for us here? And Jesus says, no, woman, this is not the time for that. Like he was completely aware that she is a voice speaking to him, but not recognizing her as the mother, so to speak. But anyway, so this is about Maria. Maria was alert. She was aware of the presence of Jesus too. Like, how can you receive a Christ by not being a Christ? That's impossible. So is Maria the Christ too? Yes, of course. Otherwise she could not have had an immaculate son, immaculate conception for a son. That would be impossible. Anyway, so this is like, yeah, that makes total sense. Now here we go. So Maria is talking to us. So yes, here we are. This is from book 2, Let Yourself Be Loved. Love what you are. Beloved children, listen to your hearts. Follow your true feelings and inspirations, for they come from Christ. The deep longings of your hearts are the guides that lead you straight to the Father's house. Never stifle your longing for love, for peace, for fulfillment. They are your guides to truth of your being and can keep you within it. Today I have come to tell you about feelings and desires. I have not come to tell you anything you do not already know. However, it is well to remind you of certain things often forgotten. Not everything you feel comes from the truth of your being, just as not everything you desire comes from your true will. There is within you a mechanism by which falsehoods are created. As you are co-creators of your inner world and thereby co-create your outer world, you either co-create with truth as your companion or with nothingness as an illusory source. Beloved ones, you are co-creators, as has been said repeatedly. Repetition is necessary for you to accept this truth in your minds united with your hearts. True feelings and inspirations are like breezes of a soft wind, created by the breath of Christ. That breath is a call of spirit, a call of life. Christ, with his breath, propels your majestic flight to the heart of God. This is why Spirit has also been called the flame of living love, a flame that calls the soul to follow love and truth. The fire that ignites love and harmony is the messenger of God within. Feelings are like reins that help you to direct your being with constant movement. Let us clarify this together. You are a spiritual being subject to the laws of spirit. Every spirit is in motion because every spirit is life. And life is movement. The movement of spirit is perceived as feelings, emotions, states, thoughts, and sensations, all of which are part of you, not as cause, but as effect. All these sensations are an effect from what, in a place of your hearts, you have decided to experience. And they come to the surface so you can be aware of them. So I want to continue with a part from discernment, and we know this word very well from Joel, discernment. And here's a nice shift that happens, and that makes the idea of discernment completely new. That is what it did to me when I read this. So that's why I want to share it with you. There's only one criterion of discernment that comes from God in order to live in the fullness of love. There's only the all and nothing, the truth and the false. Therefore, I invite you to be attentive to everything that happens in your deep interior. This does not mean to be worried or to observe the ego, but to be aware of your heart, so that you develop the habit of full attentiveness to love. You know very well what love is. Knowing comes from the heart, not the intellect. True discernment comes from the heart, not the mind. Your heart knows how to discern. The mind judges, the heart discerns. And it always discerns in truth. It is not true that you want to live. Is it not true that you want to live a life of fullness? Would you not like to be eternally happy? Do you want to be right or to be happy?